Alright, so some big breaking news coming out in the last hour. It's with regard to Conor Benn and this whole Ukad situation. It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago we were hearing that we'd have a resolution by Ukad and they'd have a ruling. But that never came out, but it has come out today. So, and I quote, Conor Benn has been cleared by Ukad over his 2 positive VADA drug tests last year in the run to the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. He is now free to box again in the UK. Eddie Hearn has gone on record and has declared that he will now reapply Conor Benn for his British Boxing Board of Control licence, with plans to return possibly in September, maybe cutting it a bit close, but you never know, and have a huge fight in December. He's also clarified that Conor Benn has not been cleared via a technicality over jurisdiction. So obviously they were trying to say that because he no longer had a license, he fell out of their jurisdiction. That's not what he's saying. So he's saying basically that no, it's legit. He's also stated that he wants to make Conor Benn versus Kell Brook. Good lord. That's just like a guy who's been retired nearly 2 years. Or, and this is a better fight, Josh Taylor versus Conor Benn. Now that Benn is free to fight again in the UK. Well, that is a better fight, Conor Benn versus Josh Taylor. If it's at welterweight, you'd make Josh Taylor heavy favourite. So this whole situation, right? So it's a strange one. So on one hand, you have people who are, up in arms, the pitchforks at the ready. What the hell is going on? And then you have others who are like, well, I knew he was innocent all along. At the end of the day, right, I said it in several videos, whatever the ruling is, we're just going to have to take it, whether you agree or disagree. That's the ruling. You can't change it. With the whole Conor Benn situation, he is going to have eyes on him. So Eddie Hearn is happy because at the end of the day, Conor Benn was making him money prior to him having a year or so off. It's been about, 15, 16 months, thereabouts. And now I think he's going to still make him money because love him or hate him, people are going to watch him. People are going to watch him and they're going to tune in to see him lose. One of the reasons why people are so animated about this and why they're so upset is many people would feel as though he's failed 2 drugs tests and that he's gotten off with it. Okay? I don't think that's the reason why people are so upset about it. I think the reason is because Conor Benn's behaviour, his conduct, following everything, right, has been shocking. Being very belligerent, coming out and, critiquing anyone who said anything about him. All the while, it took him months. It took him, over the best of 6 months to finally start getting the ball rolling on this. And it is a strange one because no sooner had he started getting the ball rolling on this that we have this here, which comes out and says he's innocent. And, as I said, we'll take it, we'll move on. But why did it take him so long to do this? Did he really expect him to just turn around and be like, snap my fingers and say, well, I'm saying I'm innocent, so prove it. I'm saying I'm innocent, so then exonerate me, when Ukad said, no, look, prove it, which apparently he's done. That's going to rub people up the wrong way, and that's what I think people really grinded their gears. I think that if Conor Benn had have all those months ago, nearly a year ago now, had those failed drug tests to come out, the fight had been obviously scrapped, which it was, and had just kept his mouth shut, I think people would have took this and they wouldn't have been so up in arms about it. I think people would have said, okay, whatever's happened has happened, let him get back in the ring, etc, etc. But the fact that he made himself out to be a spoiled brat, let's be frank, that's what he was doing, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Now that can go one of two ways for him. He can try and rebuild that image, which it's going to be difficult because people are going to remember that, or he could just embrace it. He could embrace the fact that people really don't like him following on from his behaviour and almost be the villain. Just try and be the villain, WWE style, where people come just to watch him lose. That might be an idea moving forward because it's going to take a lot for him to salvage his reputation, I believe, anyway. Now, with regards to fights, the Eubank Jr. fight is off the table. Obviously, he's fighting Liam Smith, and I think that was the reason a lot of people felt as though a ban was incoming, because it seemed that they were really trying or really close to getting that fight over the line. And then all of a sudden, for Eubank Smith to be announced, a lot of people said, he must be getting banned. And I think that was legit thinking, because it did seem strange to myself included that, like, the fight seemed this close and then it's like, oh, well, he's fighting Smith now? You're just like, what? But no, he's free to fight, but there's no opponent lined up. I would imagine for his comeback, they're not going to get anybody decent. They're just going to chuck him in there with anyone, I don't want to say a bum, but like probably a C-class fighter or kind of a lower level, or maybe a Robert Guerrero or someone like that, Victor Ortiz. I'd imagine it'd be someone like that, someone who's over the hill. The guys Conor Benn was fighting before that because he's been out of the ring for a while. Ring rust is a real thing. And let's see how he looks. Will he have the same pop? Will he have the same ferocity? Who knows? Let's wait and see. In terms of big fights for him at welterweight, look, obviously Eddie Hearn has been mentioning names like Kell Brook. There was talk of Manny Pacquiao as well. Names of retired fighters who, let's be frank, have faded. If Conor Benn is serious at campaigning and being a serious welterweight, it's going to be interesting. He's lucky in one sense, in a sense of that we have Spence Crawford this weekend. Likelihood is whoever wins that fight will move up and vacate the belt, so there will be some fragmented titles around there. But still, when you look at the upper echelons of welterweight, it's stacked. And, even if you look at domestic level, the guys Conor Benn hasn't even fought at domestic level. You look at a Josh Kelly, and yeah, Josh Kelly is not, well, I suppose he's actually a weight division above, so I was going to say him at welterweight, but he's a weight division above. But even then, if you look at the McKinsons of the world, they're tough fights as well for Conor Benn. Conor Benn improved as he has, and some people would say, gee, improved as he has, we know why. Well, let's wait and see what he looks like when he comes back. Domestic level is still tough. So it's going to be interesting to see who they put him in there with. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of feedback he gets next time he steps in the ring. It's going to be interesting. If Conor Benn was smart, he would just keep his mouth shut. Obviously he'd say, look, I'm exonerated, happy days. And I think we've kind of seen that over the last few months where he has kind of piped down a little bit. He has kind of been a bit more he even made a video where he was apologising for his behaviour. I think he realises himself that if he wants to be liked, and I think Conor Benn is someone who does want to be liked, he doesn't want to play the villain, that behaving like that, Conor Benn's not the sharpest tool in the box by a long stretch. He's one of the dumbest fighters I've come across in recent years, but even he's not that stupid to, behave like that and then think, oh, why are these people not liking me? He's not that stupid. So that's the situation. Conor Benn cleared on a weekend of Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. That is the situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Look, as I said, right, whatever the ruling is, we just have to take it and move on. Whether he's guilty or whether he's innocent, we have to just take it and move on. This is the situation. Obviously, if he fails another drugs test, well, then that's going to be a very, very different story, and there's going to be a lot more questions being asked. It's going to be interesting to see who they put him in the ring there with. I think if there's lessons to be learned, and I'm sure Eddie Hearn will take lessons from this, that if you have a fighter go through something like this where he fails a test, etc., behaving the way they have from a PR point of view is a nightmare. Just don't do it. And I wonder, is he going to take that lesson? Just hypothetically speaking, let's say he has another fighter in the future, whether it be, let's just say Johnny Fisher, just chuck him. I'm not accusing him of anything, but let's just say Johnny Fisher fails 2 PED tests. I would imagine Eddie Hearn and Fisher are not going to be going around, screaming from the hills, everyone's out to gas and stuff like that. I would imagine that's not the case. So I would say they won't do that again. So let's wait and see what happens with Benn and who he fights next, who they put him in the ring there with. They'll have to get a show together fairly quick if it's going to be September. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's on an undercard of someone rather than be in the main event, just because it's a quick turnaround. We're already in pretty much August now, next week, so it's going to be a quick turnaround. And yeah, that's the situation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you still believe he's innocent? Will you watch Conor Benn again? Are you indifferent? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. For now, I'll talk to you. Peace.